Hey guys, so this is Peter right now, and right here I'm at Jim's place as well. You can see his amazing bookshelf that he has. I think he's been collecting this over how many? How
At
many
least
years?
60 years.
At least 60 years. So this is literally 60 years worth of knowledge, and I believe that he's read every single book on there as well.
No. I should have, but I haven't.
We have. Without any further ado, so I'm here today at Jim's place, and I'll be interviewing him today for that topic which I was talking about last time, which is the tension between parents and children when it comes to kids wanting to pursue their own dreams, go after their own visions, but then parents having a completely different plan from them as well. And as I mentioned last time, Jim is generally an amazing guy. As I said before, he worked for a company that controlled a pretty large percentage, about 50% about the world's steroid. So he was managing all those sort of things, doing some amazing things. And I believe as well, you were traveling a lot in limousines and private jet planes.
Not private jet planes,
Okay.
but the company was very wealthy.
Yes.
So we only ever travelled in limousines.
Limousines.
And we also, when we stayed anywhere,
Yes.
then we always stayed in the 5-star, top of the range hotels. So
Yeah.
very luxurious.
And also I understand as well that you're a chairman as well for a $9 billion organization as well, which you're the chairman of for here in Australia, if I remember correctly.
I was chairman of it for Australia,
Yes.
but it's only a $1 billion company. It's got
Ah,
16,000 staff.
Okay. Yes.
So, but that's a Christian organisation.
Yes.
Campus, it was called Campus Crusade.
Yes.
Now called Crew, and in Australia it's called Power to Change.
I also understand as well that you were the Queensland Father of the Year as well. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and how, like, what do you have to do to actually get that award as well?
Well, it's an honorary award that you don't even know, generally speaking, that it's happened. Somebody puts your name forward.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no idea who put my name forward.
Oh,
But I think it was
see.
because of the chaplaincy work.
Yes.
And we had a number of fosters live in our home over the
Yes.
years. So we've had 49
49
people live in our home
Is it
here.
random people you don't know at all?
Some of them we knew, a lot of them were just random people, yeah.
49 people.
Some of them were
Wow.
criminals, and
Yeah.
others were just broken young people.
Yeah.
And then some were just university students. So we had 18 people that had significant issues, and then the rest were pretty normal university sort of students, yeah, from
I
the
see.
country.
Wow, that's hectic. And like when I guess like I don't know, I'm just kind of interested as well because you mentioned he has some people that did some criminal activity, and what was that like having somebody like that in your house?
Some of them bashed up people. Others were sexually active with raping people and things like that.
Yeah.
Some did robberies and other sorts of criminal
I see.
activity. One of them at least robbed us
Mm.
of about $8,000 worth of stuff and broke into the home. In fact, in this very room, they smashed through the door. Yeah. And we came home. She was supposed to be living somewhere else for the weekend while we were away on a
Yeah.
Christian camp.
Yeah.
And we came home and the door was smashed in. And, so
Found some things missing as
yeah,
well.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I see. No, that's hectic.
So yeah, we had some interesting times. We've been
Yeah.
threatened and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. Well, I guess it's kind of late now, but I guess just to introduce yourself, I guess, to some of the people that might have not heard of you before. Just some of the things that you do and what keeps you busy.
Largely these days,
Yeah.
I do mentoring and discipleships. So if the person's a non-Christian, I'll mentor them with the hope that they'll consider Christianity seriously. But if they're Christians, I try and help to grow them in their faith. And my goal with the Christians is that they'll obey what I call the 2 GCs.
Okay.
The Great Commission,
Yes.
which is to go into all the world and preach the gospel and make disciples, teaching people to obey the things of God, whatever Jesus has taught. And the other is the Great Commandments. Love God with all your heart, soul, mind and strength, and love your neighbour as yourself. That means loving your neighbour but also loving yourself. So many young people have not got to the point where they actually love themselves. They don't consider themselves very beautiful or wonderfully made.
Yeah.
They keep comparing themselves with other people instead of understanding that God's made them the way they have, a unique creature who's just got wonderful characteristics. They just may not have discovered them yet. So I try and help them to discover them.
Yeah, I see. And what sort of programs do you actually have in place to help the young people?
I'm rather cautious about programs.
Okay.
So I prefer to go with where the person's at. So sometimes I'll go with a program because a person is very program orientated. But mostly I like to go with what the agenda is that the person is raising. What are their questions? What are they struggling with? Not what does Jim think the best way that they should run their lives. So it's more, where can I help them with where they're at?
A diverse background in regards to the kind of the youth that you mentor or that you disciple with as well. And just with that as well in mind, just based on experience with mentoring or discipling the young people, do you think that kids make a decision, say career-wise, because making a career decision, that's a very, very, very big decision in life. And do you think that kids make those decisions based on the parents? Or do you think that just to please the parents, make the parents happy and to get the parents off their back? Or do you generally believe that it's actually a decision based on what they actually want to do?
I think it depends a lot on the culture.
Okay.
So if they're white Caucasian Aussies, generally speaking, they'll make their own mind up. If they come from Asia or from Africa, then quite often the parents will want to dominate that decision and push their children in a particular way.
Yeah.
But I want to say that I'm not quite sure I agree with your premise. I think that there are two very major decisions in your life.
Yes.
And your career
Yes.
is not one of those two.
Okay.
So the absolute and most important and fundamental decision is what you do for eternity. So one has to prepare oneself for eternity, not for just life on this earth. Because eternity is a very long time. If you know anything about maths, infinity is a very long time.
This might enter that,
Okay.
That's true, yeah.
So that's the most important any decision anybody makes.
Yeah.
The second most important decision is only for a lifetime.
Yes.
That's who you marry.
I see.
So it's a very important decision.
Yeah.
People that rush to get in bed with someone, or people that rush to get married,
Yes.
I've got one word for them: suffer.
I think that paints a picture pretty clear as well.
That's right. It's a lifetime. It's got to be built. It's got to be worked on. You've got to know each other, and so rapid decision in that department is usually leading towards disaster.
Yeah.
But it's for a lifetime.
I see.
And that's the reason it's so important for a lifetime, is that you're going to raise kids in that situation, and therefore you need to have a partnership that's going to be good for the kids. Then you move into other decisions that are not as important. So career decisions can change. I started off as a research scientist, then went into business and business management, then went into Christian work as a CEO.
I see, yeah.
Then I went right back to the grassroots.
Yes.
And became just an ordinary worker.
Yeah.
On the campus.
Oh, wow.
Then I started to get roles on boards. At one stage I was on 8 boards. Chairman of 3 of them. No, chairman of 4 of them.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so life can take multiple different careers and directions. I didn't start discipling and mentoring until I was 20. Until 20 years ago, sorry.
Yeah.
So at that stage I was 58.
Yes.
So you can take lots of different paths in terms of career.
Yeah.
So you're really talking about the profession, whether it be a lawyer, an accountant, a doctor, or whatever else. I don't think it matters too much,
Okay.
but I don't think pressure's helpful.
No, most definitely not.
And so I'll give you a couple of examples. So, I had one Indian bloke whose father, he wanted to be a mathematician, but his father wanted him to be an engineer. And this guy was very smart. He was a dean student at QUT.
Oh, wow.
And I started mentoring him, and he was failing. This is a guy that's a
Really?
six and seven student, very, very smart. Finally, I persuaded him, helped him to be able to get his father to realise that his heart was for mathematics,
Yeah.
not for engineering.
Yeah.
And the reason he was failing is because he had no heart for it. His father was persuaded, let him continue in mathematics. He's now a very high order mathematician in
Wow.
Melbourne and doing very, very well. But the other story I want to share is not so happy.
Mm.
Father wanted his child to be an accountant.
Mm.
Guy had no interest in accounting whatsoever. He wanted to be a musician, and he's good at music, so he got into the conservatorium here in Brisbane.
Mm.
Did one semester of it, but with no support from the family or whatever. He went back to accounting, but his heart wasn't in it. He was in drugs, and eventually he blew his mind in drugs. He passed accounting, but he's never worked for more than about a month in accounting
Yeah.
because he can't stand it. And so now he's doing music, but it's fairly late.
Yeah.
He's in his 30s now, and I don't think he has the wherewithal to be employed
Mm.
because he's been destroyed by drugs, which he took to overcome his sadness and tension.
That.
So it's not, I don't think it's good to force the issue if you're parents, but I think that the way a young person has to approach it with their parents is to say, look, Dad, I really want to honour you,
Mm.
but I will really struggle if I do something
Mm.
that my heart's not in.
Mm.
My heart's in this. Can you let me have a try at it and to go with that,
Mm.
and then if you can see how I'm going,
Mm.
because I want to honour you,
Mm.
but I don't feel I'll be able to honour you because I won't actually have the energy to do the course that you want me to do.
And
my heart's not in it.
let me just come in at that point, because what you say is very heavy in a sense of what it can lead to. Where is that when there is that pressure from a parent wanting to impose the will onto you, I guess, so you can do what they want, which leads to self-abuse and as a way of escapism from the reality, which is that they have to endure doing this thing just to make somebody else happy or to keep somebody else quiet, which is many of the cases, in our cases, is our parents. But what is actually, my question to you is, what is actually the long-term and short-term impact on the relationship?
Long-term one with the mathematician was good.
Mm-hmm.
His father capitulated and said, well, it's a worthwhile career anyway. It's not the professional career I wanted him to have, but it's a worthwhile career. And I think that the relationship that was breaking down because of the force and the pressure that the parent was putting on, I think that's been restored. The other one with the accountant, I don't think that has been restored because the child, who's now in his 30s, is angry with particularly his father that was forcing the issue. And that relationship, I hope it won't be broken forever, but it's a pretty tense and strained relationship. So I think, provided children are not going to be stupid and profligate and race after stupidity, I think parents have to give some latitude, and I think that they have to also understand that they're living in a Western culture. They're not living in the Asian or African culture anymore, and so many young people can see what their friends are actually able to do, and even sometimes their relatives are able to do without dominance from parents. But I want to also emphasise that, unfortunately, with Caucasian Aussies, they don't necessarily respect their parents. I would hate to see the Asian or African community go down that route, because I think one of the key things that Africans and Asian Aussies can do to teach the rest of Australia is respect for parents, honouring parents, strong family. I think those things are wonderful, and that must not be broken by this. So it has to be a gracious, gentle way that the young person approaches mum and dad, and in an honouring way. So I want to honour you, but I feel that this is I'm really going to struggle because my heart's not in it. Now, parents want the best for their children. They don't want their children to be upset and struggling because of imposition from the parents. But parents have to learn, just like parents only get one go at raising their kids. Okay? Children only get one go at raising their children as well, because it's happening. So they have to learn how to work with their children. They have to learn how to teach their parents that, hey, I'm actually growing up. Okay? and vice versa. Parents have to release their children into growing up. And that's extremely hard.